All right, so now we're going to get to really rip in to Kong Skull Island because, as you guys already know, we don't agree on this movie at all. So, Ollie, you defend it, and I will attack it.
Bring your best.
There are no fucking memorable characters in this movie. What have you to say?
There's a few.
Samuel L. Jackson, like his character, I remember his name. His name was Colonel Packard, if I'm remembering correctly. Other than that, that's the only name I remember in that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not screaming everybody's name like left and right.
Sure, but I should at least remember who a character is.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't remember any of the characters. Like as far as the characters are concerned, Tom Hiddleston is just bland hero number one. Brie Larson is the photographer. That's it. That's all I know.
See, that was
about
kind
her.
of a waste of a role. I'll give you that. Like,
and she's an Oscar-nominated actress.
But at the same time, it made sense because, like, I mean, if they do a sequel, I could see those pictures coming back. That's all I kept thinking. Not a sequel to just Skull Island, but like when they do like the future, like next Godzilla movie, even I could see those pictures coming back into play. But at the same time, it doesn't really serve much more of that.
It serves
even though
nothing.
it makes sense. Like
Yeah,
you're
she's
one
a photographer. But like when she's like, for example, when they're on the boat and they start taking pictures of the soldiers like all shirtless, I'm like, what's the point of all this? What's the point of this?
You
scene?
got to get a piece of the life.
I didn't get
the soldiers,
but it was useless exposition. Like,
but it was exposition.
Yeah, but it was.
It's a movie that's paying homage to B-rated horror movies.
But not even a good. Like, that part isn't even a good homage to it.
Well, I mean, not that part, but I mean, it's just like a 1 minute, 2 minute part.
But it's unnecessary. My problem is a lot of stuff in this movie seemed unnecessary. Like, how many times did we get to zoom into fucking Sam Jackson's eyes in this movie? Like, how many stare downs
enough
between
to
Kong
know
and
this
Sam?
is an intense fucking moment.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. The characters were not at all what they weren't. They weren't anything. They were just so bland and so by the numbers. I mean, they didn't put any effort into the characters. And sure, maybe look, it's a monster movie. Who gives a shit about the characters? I know for certain that in Godzilla, I didn't care about the humans. Mm-hmm. But that's because I want to see a movie where Godzilla's fucking shit up the whole movie.
Isn't that what you want to see with Kong?
But you didn't even get that. You didn't get Kong fucking shit up the whole movie. You got Kong in the beginning, and then you got Kong like.
But every fight that he got,
scattered in the middle.
You can't say that those weren't,
granted,
pretty impressive stuff.
Yes, every single time that you did get Kong,
otherwise, if they had the entire thing, they could have just called it Kong and just had the whole movie filmed from his entire point of view. But then it would take like another year because of budget and.
But I mean, even if you were directing this movie, wouldn't you want at least maybe like the human element? If the human element is going to be 50% of your movie, even if it's going to be a more Kong-centric movie, which it's not, it is centered more towards the humans. Don't let that get twisted. It is more of a human movie, just like how most monster movies are.
Yeah.
If this was like,
but they still.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say they still do him justice though too.
They do. No, they don't bastardize King Kong by any means. Like Kong is the best part of this movie, but just those characters and the character development itself wasn't there by any means. And for me, I need that in a movie. I
guess. I mean, it was just a fun movie to have fun with. I mean, like, no one goes into the Michael Bay Transformers movie and it's like, there was no character. They're on the fifth.
But who walks out of the
fifth fucking movie of those?
Yeah, but who walks out of that movie going, that was good?
Obviously, enough people to make fucking 5 movies.
Yeah, that's true.
So, honestly, like, if I'm going to have fun with a movie, at least not make it that dumb. And it's not that dumb, but there's parts where you're just like, that's a really weak line. Like, there's this whole romance that were kind of forced.
Very forced.
What's his name? Corey Hawkins and the... I don't know her name, but the Asian actress. Like, they have a whole thing. And it just felt so forced. There was no chemistry there. That was... Like, I don't know.
It was...
That whole part fucking bothered me.
Yeah, it was very forced. Like,
it was forced, but they did it, like, in little tidbits where you think, like... Oh, that's cool. Like, it all comes back. But at the same time, you're just like, it didn't need to be done.
Another thing about these characters, specifically John Goodman's character, it very much felt like John Goodman was on a timer. And they were just like, how long can we afford John Goodman? Up until this moment. Like, when he got killed, it was so...
Yeah, it was very out of nowhere, anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic. It didn't make any fucking sense. He just died. It was almost like the director was like, we can't afford John Goodman anymore. Almost like how Bryan Cranston in Godzilla.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. I feel the same exact way. I noticed that as soon as they kill him off. Because I noticed, like, right before they killed him off, I was like, this is different. They actually kept they learned their mistake. They kept the good actor on, the best actor on, and they're just going to carry the whole thing from there.
Nope.
And then, boom, he fucking died like 5 minutes later. And I was pretty fucking
the death made it made sense, I guess, because I mean, logically, yes, he died. It made sense, but like, it came out of nowhere. Like there was, like, it wasn't even like the good kind of, oh, he's now dead. It's just like, really, that's it. Like one of your main characters just up and dies, and it's just like a second of just
not even just one of the main characters. He was the founder of Monarch, which is a huge thing in Godzilla. So you think like someone who sets off a huge chain of events and set this whole movie in motion to begin with, get a little bit more than just a scream for Corey Hawkins or
Not
Dr.
even
Dre.
that. It was just
He let out like a loud yelp
That's
from
about it.
Dr. Dre, and then he just kind of.
Yeah. So what did you think about the action though?
The action was fucking awesome.
Action
It was
was
over
dope.
the top. It was perfect. I mean, they did all they can with the jungle, and that's the best part of it. They didn't like buildings destroyed. That's the huge thing that could differentiate from the King Kong series to Godzilla series, because obviously they're gonna make a sequel now. This movie's making a lot of money. They're
The
probably gonna
after
make
credit
one
sequence
more
made that
sequel
very
and then
clear.
another Godzilla sequel, and then they're probably gonna mash them up from that point, hopefully. But it makes it perfect. Like King Kong doesn't need a bunch of fucking buildings. He doesn't need to be dragged to New York. And I love how they reference that too. Like he sees the girl a few times, and you could tell like he's just like, I'm over that. Like not even I'm over that. Just like
I'm not going to New
I don't
York.
need to fuck with that shit. Like I don't need to grab the pretty blonde girl because she's just gonna bring trouble. Like all he does is just looks at her. He saves her a couple of times that he needs to, and then other than that, like he treats her like any other human. Like he doesn't see like I mean,
Yeah.
you can see there's a moment.
It's not that much
There-
emotional connection.
Yeah, but
between
you
humans.
can see there's a little bit. They kind of like paid homage to it a little bit
Yeah.
from the originals, but at the same time, you can tell they made it quite clear. Like this is a different Kong. He's on a mission. He's gonna
He's protecting the people of this island.
Yes.
Because you find out much like the Peter Jackson King Kong, that there are people living on this Skull Island. But the difference is in the Peter Jackson version, there were like cannibals and they were crazy, like evil, like
Yeah, yeah,
voodoo.
and then this one, that's
They're
another thing that
peaceful
kind of fell short with this one. These natives kind of don't have a lot to work with here. Like they make him kind of fearful, or not really fearful, but like pretty intimidating in the beginning. And after that, they just kind of like fade into the background, and just like a bunch of fucking extras that they hired just to have a little bit more diversity, probably. But like it was just like it felt out of nowhere. Like you're gonna have these like this peaceful but yet violent tribe. Like it didn't. I don't know.
But they weren't violent at all. They were completely peaceful. Like
They came at them pretty hard. Like you think they're
They came at them,
and then,
afraid.
like, from
but-
the views of the trailers, you think there's gonna be like, oh, obviously there's a human threat to this now.
Yeah.
But instead, they kind of drop the ball, and you're just like, oh, they're peaceful. I'm peaceful. Let's
I like
move
that
on.
change though. I did like that change.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like that change. I like the fact that Kong acts as the superhero of the island. He is the protector.
Yeah. No,
Without him, the ecosystem goes to shit, which they talk about later when
Mm-hmm.
Sam Jackson goes all ape shit crazy and ape shit. He goes nuts and he decides, I'm gonna try to kill King Kong. And they were like, no, you can't. He's gonna fuck up with the ecosystem.
Technically, he almost does, too. Spoiler alert.
Speaking of that brings us to one big question that I have for the future of Kong and for the future of the King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
He got attacked by napalm, and yeah, napalm is some nasty stuff. Don't get me wrong, but
So is atomic breath.
so is atomic breath. I have no clue what he's planning to do against that atomic breath.
They kind of made it clear in Godzilla. They changed the effect of the atomic breath, like the amount of damage. Like he was doing it on those other monsters in the last movie.
I don't know because he
And all he
ripped
did was
that
kinda,
guy's
like,
mouth
push him.
open, and he blasted in his mouth, and just
True.
like there was nothing left of him, just
Maybe
his
it was
head.
just the skin or something. I don't know. But no, you bring a good point right there. But it's still like maybe he somehow builds an immunity up to these fires. Maybe that's kind of explaining some of it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something
Immunity
in
to
the
fire.
next movie. No, I mean there maybe not immunity, but like maybe he builds up some kind of tolerance. Like maybe he
Not even that.
something
Maybe
else
like
that
maybe he
kinda
just
does it.
learns how
I
to
don't
get
know.
around it. I don't know.
So during the opening scene, it's obviously taking place in the 40s. It's John C. Reilly's character fighting off what was it, like a Japanese soldier?
Yeah. Japanese pilot.
Japanese pilot. They're at each other's throats. They're running. They're firing at each other. And the cinematography on that probably deserves the
That
most
was great.
credit.
That was a really good opening.
It makes it feel like you're in that time frame of the 40s almost, like this the bright colors just coming at you, this like very old school kind of feel, even with the direction of that whole scene, and it just makes it like this whole I don't know how to describe it. Like it's just it adds more depth to the whole like period film kind of thing they're trying to pull off with the whole 70s. Like they
like the first 35 minutes of this movie felt a lot like Godzilla, but in the best way. Like it was everything Godzilla wasn't. Like it was like it gives you that cool montage and it gives you the monster right in the beginning. Just boom, you get to see a full glory shot. But then that's where the movie starts coming apart for me. Like after 35 minutes, it's just kind of like, all right, you got your first taste of Kong. Now it's just kind of unnecessary. Let's just track to the jungle and find everybody. Let's go through the ropes. We're all lost. Oh, we get to see Kong for a second and eat a squid, and then he's gone. You know? And then we really don't get Kong full, like, you know, full-blown kicking shit up. Kicking ass.
kicking shit up.
Kicking shit up. You don't get Kong kicking ass until about, you know, 45 minutes past the first time you see him.
But I mean, like when it does happen, like it comes in full fucking.
I mean, like
glory.
I said, the beginning is a badass scene, then you get nothing, and then you get more badassery at the end. So,
But you get enough trickle down stuff to be like, okay, that's kind of satisfying to look at.
but
you know?
even at the end, that last fight, it felt a lot like a ripoff of the Kong versus the T-Rex fight from the Peter Jackson King Kong. Even to the point where he has the girl in his hand, and the monster's trying to like eat the girl. I'm like, that's exactly what happened with the T-Rex. Jack brought that up.
It's a new way of bringing Kong back in. Like
It's not a new way though. It's been done before. They just did it with a different monster.
it was done differently with the T-Rex.
Yeah, but a barely different monster. Like the monster was barely different. You get a T-Rex or a T-Rex-ish kind of monster. And the whole time,
it was a whole different fight, dude. Like
no,
the
you know
ending
what?
of the
Here's my
trailer,
problem.
like-
It wasn't, because the whole time it pissed me off. Because the whole time they talked about this, oh, the big one lives down there. The big one's gonna come out. If the big one comes out, there's problems. It looked exactly like all the fucking other monsters, just slightly
No, it was a
bigger.
little bit bigger.
It was a little bit bigger,
I caught
but
that
it looked
too.
the same.
No, I caught that too. Yeah, you're right. I mean, like they did kind of hype up the big ones. I was kind of
They hyped it. I thought maybe it might be like
thing.
Mothra. Like I was like, damn it, they had the balls to like whip out Mothra, or even like I thought for a minute, I'm like, if they say something about three-headed dragon, and that's what's gonna happen. If it's gonna be fucking King Ghidorah versus Kong real quick, I'll fucking take that.
Yeah, no, I knew they were gonna do
They
that.
weren't gonna do anything super big, but the fact that it was just another copy of the other monsters, just a scaled-up version, didn't like that.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it needed to be called Kong. Like if they had a monster like outshining him, like kind of what they did with Godzilla, they had to make him look a little bit more generic, just so Kong can just have this fucking movie back. You know, this is the first time we see Kong in his full glory in a long time, and he comes back with a fucking vengeance. So I mean, like it may be slightly the same as that Peter Jackson scene, I guess, but overall, like the total like what happens in that fight is completely different.
Let's talk about the after credit sequence.
Let's-
That we both can agree that got me hyped up. You got that Godzilla roar at the
it was
end.
really brief, but at the same time, like holy shit.
You get to see first of all, it starts off with a black screen, and then you get Tom Hiddleston essentially making fun of you for sitting there and waiting.
Basically.
He's just like, so you're just gonna sit here in the dark? Do you enjoy this? And then he's talking obviously to some guy. When he shows the screen, he's talking to some guy in some two-way mirror. So they're being interrogated, and they start getting questions asked about what they saw on the island, and you find out they're being interrogated by Monarch, and they show them cave pictures of Godzilla fighting Rodan, fighting Mothra, fighting a grub version of Mothra, and then you get the Mac Daddy of them all image of Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah, cave painting. Then it cuts to black, and you get badass Godzilla roar.
Probably one of the most iconic Godzilla roars. I mean, every one sounds the same almost, but this one sounded a little bit different, and like the way it just echoed in the theater, you can tell everyone was fucking hyped for that new one.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, if this movie did one thing correctly, like we said in the non-spoiler review, it definitely got me hyped up for Kong versus Godzilla.
no, it definitely did do the job. I mean, like I thought it did the job all around. Like it brought back Kong like into people's conversations. Nowadays, like people will always say, "Oh God, Godzilla would obviously be Kong. Godzilla,
He would,
Godzilla."
But he would.
But I mean, he would. But I mean, this new one, like people are always kind of curious, like if they're doing a King Kong versus Godzilla movie, how big are they going to make him? Well, we got our fucking answer and how brutal he is.
Yeah.
And he knows his shit. He knows his vital points to hit. So I don't know. I think Godzilla's gonna have to go toe to toe with something pretty big. So I guess that concludes our whole little debate about whether Kong Skull Island is good or not. Go outside, form your own opinion, watch the movie. and you will see that it's not that bad of a movie. I mean, again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, even if you want to be pretentious about it or not. So,
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Ali.
I'm Javi.
Later.